interesting to work with them when it does come around.
Why has there been so much a finance increase into the UK Space Agency for the Launch UK or anything in general?
In terms of our contribution to the European Space Agency and that kind of thing, I mean, I think it's partly been fuelled by the success of Tim Peake's mission, and I mean the change a few years ago, the UK weren't putting any money into human spaceflight at all. Tim was actually picked to fly when we still weren't putting any money
into it.
So at that point, the UK he wouldn't have gone unless we started putting money in. So I think that spurred a few things on, and it has partly due to a very good the CEO of the UK Space Agency, but who've now moved on to ESA, David Parker, was very keen on that kind of area as well, and making sure that we put enough money into that. But we've always been quite good at funding the science, Earth observation and all those kind of things, and we've been always sort of in the top 3 in terms of funding. But I think, and there's other things such as the development of launch capabilities within the UK with reaction engines as well. And I think the government's recognised that we could be.
That was at the Launch UK event. They did.
Right.
I forgot what company it is that's doing it, but they're doing the tests in Wales. What's one of the spaceports where they want to have one of the spaceports or multiple. They want to have multiple around the UK maybe, but it's different ones have different places in the UK have different bits that they can offer to this Launch UK event. So you've got ones up in Scotland what are perfect for rocket launches, and then you've got the ones down south like Cornwall and Manston, and Wales what can do the civil airplane ones like Virgin Galactic and stuff like that.
Yeah, and is that because of the existing infrastructure, the runways and things like that?
Well, at the moment it's to do with existing, but then they want to build on top of them and that. But the one in Manston, it's Derek at the moment. There's companies who want to buy it, and that one of them wants to put houses on it, and it's one of the biggest runways in the UK. It was used for the space shuttle, just in case it was like trajectory was long coming back. It was a relief runway and everything like that. It's just to do with everything, like where it is and how much, because there's £10 million gone into the Launch UK for just to set up the spaceport and then do a launch later in a couple of years.
Okay.
From the UK, hopefully. What interactions has ESERO had with Tim Peake in the last couple of months or since he's been back?
Since he's come back, well, we had the sort of the 2 big conferences that were, one in Portsmouth and one in York, that were to celebrate all the work that was going on in schools. So obviously Tim was here for that, and we've we've still been promoting his work, and we've been funded up. We're funded up until the end of this month, March, to still do work with primary schools. And beyond that, we'll have to see. I mean, he's obviously announced that he will be doing another mission.
Going back.
So we would hope that we will get some more funding, hopefully, come through for that, and we can do more work with schools. But yeah, it's been the last 2 years has been kind of incredible in terms of the engagement with schools with that.
What is the space innovation and growth strategy, like a workable launch system that you know of being developed in the UK?
In terms of launch systems, we don't.
Or you don't
follow it that much in terms of.
You're more educational side instead of actual.
In terms of the actual facilities and what's being developed, we kind of keep one eye on what's going on within industry, but because we're very much focused on the education side,
you don't really get into that part of
not so
that much. But do you think you will get more involved in the actual like teaching of more like engineers and software programmers who will work on the systems at the spaceports?
Yeah, I mean, because our remit kind of goes up to 18 years old. What we're really focusing on is trying to get. I mean, we're probably by the time we get to 16-year-olds, they're already making their decisions anyway.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of involvement that we have is mostly through teachers and trying to get them to work with, you know, primary and kind of lower secondary pupils, mostly to get them enthused about STEM subjects. And we're not necessarily focusing on just getting people into space industry, because obviously although it's a growing industry, there's still limited jobs that you
It's
can
more
go
to do
into.
with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yeah, so it's kind of using...
Like, it's more of a broad range that you're going for,
Yeah.
so just focusing just on the
It's
space.
using space as a context for doing it, so it's trying to use that as a hook to get children excited about it, really. But I mean, going forward, we will have to, like I say, if there's a spaceport in the UK, and if there are launch capabilities, we will kind of use that as part of what we're doing. So always trying to bring in current developments, like we're doing a course for teachers on the James Webb Space Telescope because it's launching next year.
Yeah.
We've done things on the Gaia mission, which launched in 2016. So we're looking at Mars things, obviously going forwards in the next. We've got the lander in 2020. So we're always trying to look at what's coming up next in terms of space missions and linking that back into the curriculum.
What role has ESERO had? What role would ESERO have in the UK Gateway?
Again, don't know at this
Yeah, you
time.
don't really know.
Depends what. Most of the direction that we get comes through in terms of what we get involved with industry-wise would come through UK Space Agency or European Space Agency. So it depends what their priorities are. So.
And you just go off from that, and then.
Yeah. We have to come up. I mean, we've got a 3-year plan now, which doesn't include anything that they're looking at with spaceports or like, at the moment. So we're really focused on these kind of next
Generation of
missions.
Yeah.
So it depends. Things will take a little bit of time to filter down.
What role would ESERO again have at the ECAT
EXAT.
Yeah,
Is it?
ESAT Centre?
Yeah, well, other than, I mean, what we're trying to do with that is to promote to students what, the fact that it exists and that we now have an ESA centre in the UK. We don't do, because it's primarily around telecoms work, doesn't tend to be the thing that gets people excited.
No.
Although it's the thing that makes the most money. But yeah, so we'll kind of, keep an eye on what's going on there, and obviously we do. I was talking about one of the courses that we run for teachers. That is on the same site, so we'll kind of we can make them aware of it. But doing a tour of the EXAT offices is probably not the most. It's an office. There you go.
Here's another one. Here's another one.
A lot of good things that go on, but yeah.
Same question again about the roles, but at the Rutherford Appleton Laboratory.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean that because we do run courses down there. We do take them around the facilities, give them tours of the satellite testing facilities and the manufacturing side of it, because that's very. I mean, we are trying to expand that. We've been running it with science teachers. We're trying to expand it into looking at what we can do with technology teachers more and maths teachers and that kind of thing, and bring them into it. But yeah, that's the main focus.
Still on the same theme of roles, what ESERO would have. What would it have at this satellite application for satellite application catapult?
Well, we do. Yeah, we have one. There is one person that works for the national. Well, he's partly funded by the National Space Academy, who are based in Leicester, but he also works for the catapult. And we do again link in through him to trying to keep an eye on what they're doing. They're obviously looking at a lot of downstream applications, so we've had teachers go in and view their centre in there, and they've got some nice kind of displays where, you know, big 3D displays and stuff like that. It's impressive, and you can talk to teachers about the kind of applications, and they can link that back to the curriculum. Things like, for example, fishing, you know, tracking fishing, illegal fishing vessels and all that kind of thing. So we do, again, we talk to them. They also worked with us and Raspberry Pi on the Astro Pi project.
What would the role be for ESERO for Innovate UK?
So, well, we really, because they, I mean, satellite applications, Catapult,
And
kind of innovate similar. So we don't, I mean, that's our link through them. So we don't. That's
So you got a link to the Catapult, and then that's the same one to
Springboard.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, we know. Yeah, I mean, we talk to Catapult, and then they talk to Innovate. So it's kind of a,
just gotta wait for the data to be pushed over and then not encrypted. Last question from me. What would the role of ESERO have in the International Space Innovation Centre?
the International Space Innovation. I don't know what that is actually.
Okay, I'll send a link.
Okay.
That's
Mine done now.
okay.
Yeah, got to.
Over to sort of both Tom and Jai, but particularly Jai, with Tom. Jai, would you say, has the cansat project affected the cansat project at college,
Yep.
particularly at level 4 that you're doing it now as mentor, affected your studies, your career, your family life, or your relationships in any way as well?
College-wise, it's made me think outside the box most of the time. It's made me know what I want to do as got more of a guide to what I want to do as a job for programming or radio systems for like satellites, or just teaching people about cansat as well. I love talking about cansat. It's more about for me the information that we get off it and how we can gain more information and grow it as a competition in the UK instead of just doing it like so small like Northern Ireland has, so like nearly most of the colleges do cansat, and it's the same in European ones. We're just still growing after 6 years.
4 years in the UK.
4 years.
Doing it, I mean, it's Ireland and Portugal really have it in terms of the number of teams doing it. There are quite a few. Everyone else is pretty much